Good morning. Welcome to Conversations Here and Now. My name is Naresh. Today is Wednesday, September the 3rd. In Canada, the criminal code gives you the right to defend yourself, others, and your property if someone breaks into your home. But it has limits. The law allows you to use force, but it must be reasonable in the circumstances. And I'm going to look at the key parts of this. This has been in the news lately, especially in Ontario. What would you do if somebody breaks into your home? So, first I'm going to look at the legality of things. Number one, defending yourself or others. Under Section 34 of the Criminal Code of Canada, if someone has broken into your home, you may use force. May use force if you believe on reasonable grounds that you or someone else is being threatened with force. Okay, so it has to be your belief. Your response must be reasonable in the circumstance. So if somebody's broken into your home, they're just walking around, looking at things, and it's somebody you don't know, obviously you can tell them to get the heck out of your house and they leave. So again, looking at that, factors that a court looks at to decide what is reasonable. Okay, so what is reasonable? The nature of the threat, weapon, number of intruders, what the weapon is, what your training is. Court also may look at whether you tried to retreat or de-escalate, the proportionality of your response. Now, deadly force is harder to justify unless you truly feared for your life. Okay, so if somebody has a gun pointed to your head, obviously you're going to fear for your life. If somebody has a baseball bat in their hand, obviously you're going to fear for your life or serious bodily harm. If somebody has a knife in their hands, obviously again you're going to fear serious bodily harm or death. Your role in the situation, were you defending yourself or were you escalating it? Right? You can defend yourself, but you can also escalate it. Maybe if you have a baseball bat of your own in your hand, were you swinging that around? So were you trying to defend yourself after the guy has attacked, or were you escalating it in the first place? Number two, so that was defending yourself or others. Number two, under Section 34, defending yourself or others under Section 34 of the Criminal Code of Canada. Number two is defending property under Section 35. You may use force to prevent someone from entering, taking, or damaging your property if you believe on reasonable grounds you are in possession of it or authorized to protect it. So, for example, your home, right? Your car. So you may use force to prevent someone from entering, taking, or damaging your property. Somebody's entering in your home. Somebody's trying to steal your car or damage your car or some other property. Again, most important is the force must be reasonable. Okay? Enough to stop the intrusion, not more. Deadly force is generally not justified solely to protect property. Okay? It's one thing to use deadly force to protect your own life or serious bodily harm, but it's another thing if somebody's trying to steal your car and you shoot them and kill them, or you beat them senseless badly, right? So deadly force is generally not justified solely to protect property, only if you reasonably fear death or grievous harm. The next thing I'll look at is citizen's arrest, which is under Section 494 of the Criminal Code of Canada. If someone breaks into your home, you may arrest them if they are committing a criminal offense or in relation to your property, or you find them committing a crime and arrest them at that time. And then after that, you must deliver them to police without delay. You can only use, again, this is the most important point, you can only use as much force as necessary to detain them. Excessive force could result in charges against you. So all these things that I pointed out, if you use excessive force to protect yourself, okay, or to protect your property, or to effect a citizen's arrest, you could be charged. Okay, so very important to keep that in mind. If somebody's broken into your home and they have a gun in their hand, and if you have a gun in your hand at that time, and they point their gun at you, then that's grievous bodily harm or death, and you can take steps to prevent that, right? If somebody's trying to steal your car, on the other hand, you can't just walk up to them with a baseball bat and start beating them. Okay, so which could result in grievous bodily harm to that person. Okay, so these points are very important. So everybody seems to always bring up, the castle doctrine or stand your ground in the US. We don't have the castle doctrine in Canada. Okay, so unlike the US, Canada does not have a castle doctrine or stand your ground law. You do not have an unlimited right to use force in your home. Canadian law always requires that your actions be reasonable and proportionate to the threat. Even in the US, people think if somebody just enters my home, I'll just shoot them and kill them. Well, they're unarmed or armed. Doesn't shoot to kill. That may or may not stand up in court, even in the US. Okay, so people have this mistaken belief that you can do whatever you want if somebody enters your home. Right? If somebody enters your home at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you just got woken up, you grab your shotgun and you shoot them without asking any questions. How do you know who they were? Maybe it's somebody related to you. Maybe somebody accidentally walked into your home. Things happen, right? So even in the US, there is liability and you can be charged. If an intruder enters unarmed and tries to run away, chasing and severely injuring them could be, and most likely would be, seen as excessive. If that person, you warned that person, you yelled at the person, and they get out and leave and they're running away, if you chase them with a baseball bat and beat them, even without a baseball bat, if you're a big person, that would be seen as excessive. Now, again, the other scenario is if an intruder enters armed with a knife and threatens your life, using serious force, even lethal, if unavoidable, may be justified. I said may be justified. So, I mean, I'm going to try and use an example of police officers. If a police officer is trying to arrest somebody or talk to somebody, and that somebody points a gun at them, the police officer will point their gun back at them, and that person will probably have a very bad day. That's called serious bodily harm or death. So the police officer would be justified in shooting them. Doesn't matter if that person was holding a fake gun. If to the police officer it looked real, then they fear bodily harm or death, and they would be justified in using force that they perceive in their mind. All right? If a police officer has somebody who they've stopped and they're speaking to, they have a person they're talking to, and that person pulls out a knife and points it towards the police officer, the same thing again. That's grievous bodily harm or possible death. So the police officer will take a proportionate response by taking out their gun and pointing it at the person, and they would be justified in using it. If the person is a big person and has a solid baseball bat in their hands, the police officer again would be justified in drawing their firearm and pointing it at the person, because that baseball bat can cause serious bodily harm or death. If you get hit in the head with a baseball bat, that's pretty much death. You're going to go down. So the police officers. So again, this is what it comes down to the homeowner as well. So if somebody enters your home and they're totally not armed, right? You yell at them. If you see them, you yell at them at 2 o'clock in the morning and they get out and leave. Fine. Don't chase them with a gun. Don't chase them with a knife. Don't chase them with a baseball bat and try to do something if you catch up to them, because that's excessive force then. If the person enters your home and they already have a gun and they point it at you, and if you have a gun, you may be justified in using that because you fear serious bodily harm or death. If the person enters your home and they have a baseball bat and they're holding it up, when you tell them to leave, they don't leave and they're holding it up, walk towards you. If you have a gun, you may be justified because you fear serious bodily harm or death. And the same thing goes with a knife as well. But if the person is unarmed and you shoot them in Canada, then you will be liable under the Criminal Code of Canada. Right? So what I'm going to do is go over some points here as to how you can protect yourself in your home. Okay? So if someone breaks into your home and you hear it happen, most likely you went to sleep, locked up everything. You're gonna hear either a window break, or your alarm goes off, or if you have an alarm system, the police will then most likely be on the way, because the alarm center will call you and you can tell them, well, somebody's breaking into my home, so the police will be dispatched immediately. But if you don't have an alarm system, then so you hear the door breaking, crashing, or your window breaking, etc., call 911 right away. Okay, answer the questions that dispatch is going to ask you. The dispatcher will direct you what to do, because they will send police right away. Okay, that's step number 1. Step number 2: avoid confrontation if possible. If you can escape safely with your family, do so somehow, if you can. If escape is not possible, secure yourself in a safe area until the police arrive. What's a safe area? Right? That's a bathroom that you can lock up from inside and stay on phone with the police. Right? That's a safe. Or maybe, most likely you're not going to be able to run into your basement, depending where the basement entrance is. But most likely you'll be in your bedroom sleeping at night, and if you can get into the bathroom, that's probably the safest area. If you have a walk-in closet that can be locked from the inside, that's another safe area. Some people have that, but most people have the bathrooms that can be locked. So you stay in there on the phone with the police until the police arrive, and they'll take over after that. And step number 3, defend yourself only if necessary. If you are confronted by the intruder, that's if you're confronted by the intruder, you may use reasonable force, as I had said before, under Section 34, self-defense, or Section 35, defense of property. Force must match the threat. So if the person, you confront that person, they're just standing there looking at you saying, hey, give me everything. I think the wise thing would be to give them what they ask for, whether it be car keys, jewelry, money. Just give it to them. Why would you do anything else if they're nothing in their hand? And to be honest with you, most people are not trained in self-defense with a gun, using a gun, knife, or a baseball bat. All right? The police have very high-level training using a gun, using their baton, and other stuff that they have. Most people don't have that stuff in their home. Some people have guns, okay? But again, you may use reasonable force. If the person is not armed, basically he's asking for your car keys, give it to them. Don't point a shotgun in their face and, maybe the shotgun goes off accidentally or something, right? So it's better to just give them what they want. The insurance company will cover your car loss. It's a property, man. It's a property, right? The insurance company will fix whatever damage to your door or your window, okay? I know it would be hard at that moment to think what to do, but most important thing in your mind should be your safety and your family's safety. So if you can get that person out of the house as fast as possible, give them what they want, give them whatever little bit of money, little bit of jewelry, or your car keys. Most times they're looking for the car keys, right? So give them that and get them the heck out of there, right? If they want your wallet, give them that. You've already called 911, hopefully, and the police are on their way. So just give them what they want and get them out of there, right? So defend yourself only if necessary. Minimal threat means minimal force. Blocking, pushing away, holding the person until the police arrive. right? Serious threat to life, stronger force may be justified, including weapons if no other option. But most people don't have guns. Handguns are not legal in Canada anymore. Some people do have other firearms. Don't know. I'm not sure if they can get access to it right away. If I mean, I don't know if many people that sleep with a shotgun under their pillow. So I don't know, but there's a legal way to store them. You put them in locked cabinets separately from the ammunition. Okay, so if somebody suddenly breaks into your home, I'm not sure if you can access that really fast. So you have to take all that into account. Think of it ahead of time. What would you do if somebody broke into your home, right? Do not chase or attack if the person flees. That can turn you into the aggressor legally. If the person is got the car keys and they're running out of your home, who cares about the car? That can be replaced. Can your life be replaced? Or if you beat that person up and they don't have any weapons, do you want to end up in jail? If that person suffers some serious bodily harm, do you want to end up in jail? No, you don't. Let them go. Now, however, if you do somehow, if there's 3 or 4 of you in the house and there's a couple of guys, and if you can detain the intruder somehow, let them go if they want to go. Tell them to leave. Police are on the way. But if you do detain them under Section 494 of the Criminal Code, citizen's arrest, you may hold them if they're committing an offense. Use only necessary force to restrain that person, not to restrain and then beat the heck out of them because you're so upset, you're so angry. How dare you break into my home? How dare you, threaten me in any way? And you just beat the heck out of them. No, it's not going to work in court. More likely than not, the police will charge you. If that person was unarmed, that person didn't make any threats, all they said was, give me your car keys, and you beat the heck out of them, it won't go well for you, okay? And as soon as the police arrive, hand them to the police without delay, okay? Now, what to do after the police arrive? Comply with what the police tell you to do, okay? Put down any object you used as protection before opening the door. The police coming into the house don't know who you are. You don't have a big sign on your shirt saying victim. They may think that you're the aggressor. You're the guy or gal who broke into the house. So if the police come into the house to the front doors, do what they say. If they say, let me see your hands, put your hands up. Try to, then tell them who you are. Okay? Provide facts, not guesses. So be factual. Don't guess at things. Explain what happened and what you did and why you felt threatened. Mention that you were defending yourself, your family, and your property. Be prepared for an investigation, okay? Even if you acted lawfully, police may take statements, gather evidence, and possibly detain you temporarily in order to get your full statement under oath. If the situation was serious, where injury or death, get a lawyer immediately. So, key things to remember always are reasonable is the test. Force must be proportional to the threat. I'm saying this again. What's reasonable under the circumstance? If somebody points a gun at a police officer, what is reasonable for the police officer to do? If somebody points a gun at you, what is reasonable for you to do? If you don't have any weapons in the house, then basically do as they tell you. Give them everything that they want. So it's very difficult to, this is situational. It's very difficult for anybody to say, hey, do this, this, and this, because the situation might be different than what you're told. So the most important thing I can give you is try to stay calm. As soon as you hear somebody breaking into your home, call 911, hide in a place, whether it's the bathroom or a walk-in closet or a closet or something, until the police will arrive really quickly. So hide until then. However, if you do end up, face to face with the intruder or intruders, do as they say. Just hand them the keys, the money, and the wallet or whatever else they ask. So Life over property. Deadly force is only justified if you reasonably feared death or grievous harm, not just the theft. You can't say, well, the guy was about to steal my brand spanking new BMW or Audi or Corvette, so I shot him. Not going to work, okay? You'll end up getting charged. And what would you do if a break-in happened in your home? What would you do? Most people have family. Most people are not single and living in a big home. They have family, right? So what would you do? Citizens' arrest is risky. The law allows it, but mistakes such as excessive force, wrong person can result in charges against you. Always call police first. Everybody has access to a phone right away by the bedside table, whether it's their cell phone, whether it's their landline phone. 911, and do not put the phone back down, right? And you can keep talking to the police. They will know the technology is there now. They will know what address it's coming from, but you can yell out the address, right? Police are trained and equipped to handle intruders. Most of us are not. Most of normal Joe Q public is not equipped to go face to face. It gets really tiring of people saying, "Oh, I wish we had the castle doctrine." What is it that you are planning to do? If somebody, maybe next door is having a big party and people got intoxicated and they, somehow managed to get your door open or walking around. Castle doctrine, they think, "Oh, I'll just shoot that person right away." Really? That's not going to work in Canada. You're in Canada. If you want to do things like that, maybe go live in Texas or Florida. Move. Right? Then Canada is not for you. If you want to be able to shoot people, the US allows people to carry guns, right? All you have to do is get your license, then you can carry it anywhere in the public, right? So laws are completely different in the US. And if that's the kind of thing you like, then move to the US. But here in Canada, you have to consider what is reasonable force. And again, if somebody has broken into your home, most important advice is call 911, go hide if possible. If you are confronted, then you give them what they want. In that meantime, hopefully the police will be getting close. And if you give them what you want, then you hope that they will leave, right? And you go from there, but you have to play the situation from there. So what are the factors that the court looks at? Let's say if you do in the heat of the moment, you severely beat that person, whether it's by your fists or with a baseball bat or a weapon, or you shoot that person, they were unarmed, right? So what would a court look at during those circumstances? Because you most likely will be charged. So what would a court look at? So these are the 9 factors a judge or a jury would consider. And I'm just going to go through the 9. I'm not going to go through the explanations unless it's absolutely necessary. Number 1, the nature of the force or threat. Was the intruder armed? Was the threat verbal, physical, or deadly? I've already explained that, right? People can say to you, "I'm going to kill you if you don't give me everything," and they don't have anything in their hands. That doesn't mean you go grab a baseball bat and beat the heck out of them, okay? Give them what they want, right? So that's verbal. Physical, and they start hitting you if you don't give them anything. You can hit them back. Deadly is, again, they have a knife, they have a baseball bat, or they have a gun. And again, most times I would suggest that you just comply with what they say. Okay. Number 2, the extent to which the use of force was imminent. Was the threat happening right then or there, or was it only a future possibility? Did they, as soon as you confronted them, start beating you right away? Or did they say, "I want your car," or "I'm going to beat you up," or "I'm going to hit you with a baseball bat," or "I'm going to shoot you," right? So the court will look at that. Number 3, whether there were other means available. Could you have called police, escaped, or de-escalated instead of using force? Court will look at that. Okay. Number 4, the person's role in the incident. Were you defending, or did you escalate the situation? Right? You could have told the guy, "Get out," and he's walking away. Then you chase after him, right? Then start escalating the situation. Number five, whether any party used or threatened to use a weapon, presence of knives, guns, or blunt objects is a major factor. If the person's totally unarmed, right, then you're unarmed, he's unarmed, he or she's unarmed, give them what they want. Or tell them the police are on the way, and hopefully they run out of the house. The size, age, gender, and physical capabilities of the parties. Court recognizes physical imbalances. For example, a small elderly homeowner versus a large younger intruder. If it's a, again, such a situational question. He could be a big guy and he could just say, hey, give me everything you have, your car keys, your wallet, then I'll leave. Right? So you're smaller, but were you threatened? So everything comes into play. Number seven, the nature, duration, and history of the relationship, if applicable. So this is relevant if the intruder is known to you, an ex-partner. Usually this is in the case of, most times, in the case it's a woman's ex-husband or an ex-boyfriend. They know them and how abusive they were, or why are they there? Why did they break into your home? So you have to take all that into account, but still make sure you've called 911 and let them know. Okay, that's really important. Number eight, any history of threats or violence between the parties. If you had reason to fear based on prior incidents that matter, that if that ex-boyfriend or ex-husband has beat you in the past, so you're going to take the steps that are necessary in order to protect yourself, because you know from the past history of what they have done. So that will be looked at. And lastly, whether the act was in response to a lawful use of force. For example, if the person breaking in was actually a police officer acting lawfully, that changes things. Again, I don't know how many times a police officer will break in without any reason to break in, right? But if the person breaking into your home has come from a party that's in the neighborhood where they've gotten intoxicated and they've gotten into your house, what was the intent of the person? That's one of the things court always looks at. Was the intent of the person who has broken into your home to rob you, or they just wanted your car, or did they want to kill you, or did they want to harm you in some other way if you're a female? Or was the person mistakenly in the house? The intent was not to do any of those things, and you end up, using major force, such as you end up using a baseball bat on them, or a knife on them, or a gun on them. So that will be looked at. So these are the 9 points that will be looked at. So my advice to you, as I've always said, things you can do to protect yourself a little bit, again, is secure your home. Before any of this happens, you can take steps to protect yourself, and that is to secure your home. Number 1, secure your home. Locks, security systems, cameras, and motion lights can deter intruders and provide evidence if needed. Okay, know your local police emergency number. In Canada, it's 911. In other countries, it's something else. That's most important. So secure your home. Okay, number 2, have a safety plan. So decide on safe areas in your home. Bathroom that you can lock. Okay, closets that you can lock. Or places you can seriously go hide in. It could be, inside your shower, walk-in closets behind clothing, or something where you can quietly hide and keep police online when you've called 911. Teach family members how to call police and avoid confrontation if possible. So the answer always is to do your best to avoid confrontation if possible. Because confrontation, you're not trained. You're not a trained use of force expert. Most people will not be, 95%, if somebody breaks into your home. Somebody breaks into your home, call 911, hide. If you're confronted by the intruder, de-escalate. Give them what they want. Get them out of there. Okay? Do your best to get them out of there. In most cases, when calls like this come through, when somebody's breaking into your home, the police will get there very quickly. Okay? Because they know somebody's life may be online. Somebody may get injured grievously. right? So they will get there very quickly. And once the police arrive, do as the police tell you to do. If you have any questions about this topic, please leave them in the comments. If you like the video, if you like the subject, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications and share with your friends. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again.